Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. I'm Maria Milagros, your local neighborhood life coach, keynote speaker, and author. I'm also a mom to an amazing, extraordinary teenage daughter. And during the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing one tip per video of tips to help us create a healthier and happier life. So last week I talked about the importance of us minding our business and really focusing and using that energy that we tend to use on worrying about what other people are not doing with their lives. And I'm not talking about if you're like part of a movement and you're an activist, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the gossip and the back and forth and the in and out of other people's decision making that really doesn't impact our lives. And rather than taking that on and pretending like it's ours, really paying attention and telling ourselves like, mind your business. That has nothing to do with you. That's not your business. Because it just gives us more freedom, more peace, more ease, right? So this week, I want to talk about this one tip that I've been using a lot lately. And I'm sorry, I have some windows behind me and the sun keeps coming and going in the clouds. So if the lighting changes during this video, that's why. So I wanted to talk about this week, something that I've been using a lot lately, and it is practicing the pause, right? This is the universal, or maybe not universal, but it's American Sign Language for pause, like pause. So for me, I find that sometimes if I'm not well slept or if I haven't eaten well, or enough, I can get in my emotions, right? Because when we don't self-care in a way that helps us regulate and manage everything that's happening in this amazing vessel that we have, it can affect us mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and so on and so forth. It's all interconnected, right? So when I find that I am not well slept, or let's say it's just been really busy, or I haven't eaten, and someone asks me a question, if I feel myself getting emotional and like wanting to like, then I've been practicing the pause. Like, wait, pause. Why am I getting so mad about this? Like, why did I have such an emotional response to this? If they would have asked me yesterday when I was well eaten, right? Well eaten, you know what I mean? When I ate well, then it wouldn't be such an issue. Pause. And so it gives me the opportunity before I speak or before I respond or before I act to just kind of check in. What's happening right now? Why are you responding this way in your own body, in your own mind? And then how are you going to move forward, right? So it's something that I just wanted to share, like practicing the pause. And it's something that we should be practicing even when it's not a situation that pushes our emotional buttons, so that we are well practiced. And when a situation does pop off that pushes our emotional buttons, we can pause. Right? So I will be honest, there was a situation that happened and I told myself to pause. And then I was like, yeah, I'm still mad about it. And I'm still going to talk about it. And I'm still going to bring it up. And I'm still going to call it out. I'm going to call out what is happening. And I'm going to call these other people into the situation. So the pause even gives me an opportunity to like, yes, I am justified in being upset about this because what I was told and what happened were two very different things. And so I get to call out the disconnect and I get to call them into a conversation like, how are we going to remedy this? Right? And I don't want, for myself, I've been learning more and more how to practice really just like owning all of my emotions and not stuffing them down or toning myself down for the comfort of other people. So sometimes, granted, I'm going to try my hardest not to be disrespectful because I'm still standing in front of another sacred human, whether they are ignorant or biased or they just made a mistake or they did something that was potentially hurtful. This is still another sacred human doing the best they can with what they know how. So I'm going to try my best not to be disrespectful, but I am going to show up in all my truth. And that might mean sometimes like I'm angry. I'm angry when blah, 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 blah. And how are we going to remedy this, right? It's really that pause is about the ownership of all of our feelings and like recognizing, is this something that's me that I can, that I can deal with because I didn't eat well enough today or because I didn't sleep well enough last night? Is this me being emotional? And even sometimes the pause gives us the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm going to pause for a day and I'm going to get myself together. And then I'm going to come back. And if I'm still really upset about it and I recognize that it is a valid point, I'm going to call out the situation and call in other people. So I'm talking about the pause, but I'm actually talking about self-awareness, right? Using the pause as an opportunity to grow in our own self-awareness before we respond or before we react. And the way that this is going to make us healthier and happier is because we're really taking ownership and responsibility for who we are and how we show up in the spaces of our lives. We're giving ourselves permission to pump the brakes, check in. Yep, this is still how I'm going to move forward. Or pump the brakes, check in, and go, yeah, I need a Snickers bar because I'm hangry, right? And like, this is mine. I'm going to own this. I'm not going to take this out on another person. It just, it leads to healthier dynamics in how we communicate, and it leads to healthier dynamics in our relationships with absolute strangers and with the people in our life that we love and care about. Right? So my suggestion for this week, my tip is for us to get better at, or at least to just start practicing the pause and pause before we respond and before we react. All right. So that's all I have for you this week. I hope that this was beneficial. If you know someone who can benefit from it, go ahead and share it. If you haven't already, subscribed to my channel and click that little notifications button so that every time I add something to my channel, you'll be aware of the fact that it's available. The other thing that I wanted to add is that tomorrow I am going live on Instagram and Facebook for the first time ever. Oh, I'm not nervous about going live. I am a little nervous about technology though. So I'm going to do a little test run later on and make sure. And I moved the Our Fullness webinar to September 30th, Thursday, September 30th, from 7 to 8 will be the webinar, and then 8 to 8:30 will be an opportunity to talk, to discuss, to process, and to answer any questions. So if you're interested in that webinar, members of Super Sparkly Everything family, that just means SSE members who signed up on my website, you get my weekly emails. The rate for you is $30, and for everybody else, it's $40. You could save $10 by just heading over to my page and signing up for that newsletter. And if you have any questions, you can reach out at supersparklyeverything@gmail.com. That's all I have. You're amazing, and don't you forget it. And if you do forget it, pause, reset, remind yourself who you are. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.